Well, folks, thank you for tuning into this episode today. Kind of a special Habs Tonight special edition video, if you will. You know the guy to my left and your right, whatever side your camera's on. But Steve Dangle, thanks for jumping on with us today, man.
Grumble, grumble, grumble.
Begrudgingly, it's been a tough couple of days for you, man. And like at what point do you need a break? Maybe now that the season's done, just to not talk about the Leafs after this.
Oh man, I mean, there's content. It's a very interesting off season. So once we started sort of having that conversation on the podcast yesterday, I was like, all right, well, it's not the nicest off season that they're about to head into, but it's consequential. There's opportunity for creativity. Seattle is a massive factor in all that. So all of that, tickles my fancy and everything. But in terms of I've done a lot of talking about like scar tissue, like mental scar tissue with this team. Each and every one of their 82 regular season games next year don't matter. They don't matter. If they make the playoffs, cool. But not a Leaf fan will have a moment's peace until this team wins a playoff round.
Yeah, I actually caught some of the podcast on lunch break today just to try to catch up on some stuff. And you said, Habs fans are going to hold on to this and rub it in Leafs fans' faces forever. But you know what, man? Like
they should.
Yeah, but that being said, I mean, this season was just an anomaly in so many ways. I mean, these teams could very likely meet again in the coming seasons. No.
Yeah, but it's not going to be like this year. It's just not going to be like this year. And the ratings were so good. And like, no offense to the Habs or the Jets, but like the path to Matthews versus McDavid, like that's never happening again. They'll have to make the cup final. They'll have to make the cup final against each other. And it's simply not going to happen. Here, can I show you something? I'm going to get up very quick. Here.
Go for it, man. Take a sip of water.
I was sent something in the mail by a company that shall not be named.
Okay, so could be Montreal related. Well, guys,
I honestly, like, once things open up, might use this as kindling. like I would, like if someone invites me to a cottage.
No.
2021 North Division champs, baby. Woo! Regular season. Fart.
Oh, my goodness, man.
Just so terrible. The Habs are 3 wins away right now from the real championship of the North Division, which I think just because it's a one-time thing and it's so unique. I know Montreal's probably not interested in divisional banners on account of you've won 24 cups, but something about the North Division, being the final team standing in Canada after an all-Canadian division, something about that special.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a once in a lifetime thing. And actually, I got something to show you as well. I was at work the other day during Game 7 and watching your stream. You stream
right.
too. Yeah,
you had it right.
A little bit of both. But this guy was so disgruntled, a guest at my hotel, that he gave me a Matthews jersey off of his back to me.
Wow.
A Habs fan. Now,
look at that.
Like I've worn a Leafs jersey on my channel, man. Like I have little pride. Like I just want to get along with everybody. This surprised me though. But at the same time, it didn't. Like I saw the jersey burning videos are so stupid.
Those are dumb.
Like I don't know, man. I just feel like, is there a way for Habs and Leafs fans to get along? You guys see it, like you, Adam, and Jesse see it a lot on the podcast, right? Is there a close circle or even a small circle of Habs fans that like you can actually have some back and forth with?
Oh, absolutely. Like I've said this before, and it like I make like people of my parents' generation sick, but like I've never disliked Habs fans or the Habs. Like it's the playoffs make you hate teams. So when I was younger, I hated the Sens, I hated the Flyers, I hated the Sabres, I hated the Devils. And to a very small extent, the Blackhawks, because I want to say the Blackhawks beat the Leafs in like It's like 95. Like it was a long time ago. And but the Habs, I mean, it's always fun. It's always super fun and it's always heated, but like, I have lots of friends who cover the Habs and friends who are Habs fans and another thing, like people don't understand, like they think, I work at Sportsnet and they think everyone in the greater Toronto area is a Leafs fan. and everyone who works at Sportsnet's a Leafs fan. That's just not true. It's just not true. There's tons of Habs fans. There's a bunch out where I live, because there's a heavy sort of East Coast vibe out here in Oshawa for some reason, even though Oshawa is not the East Coast. Just a lot of people from out there move here. Ton of Bruins fans because of Bobby Orr, and we can agree on hating them.
I think we can.
Yeah, there you go. So it's no, I got nothing against Habs fans.
Well, it's interesting because like 10, 12 years ago, I was a different kind of Habs fan. I was outside the Bell Center buying a Leafs suck t-shirt to wear underneath my jersey. And
nice.
My buddy called me on it. He's a Leaf fan and we get along crazy well. He watches your stuff. And I was thinking like, did you have to decide at some point whether you work for Sportsnet or not, did you have to decide what kind of fan you want to be? Because you seem like you want to get along with everybody, but still have fun cheering for your team.
Wow, that's a really deep question. I think I know I want to be a man of peace. But like I'm talking to you now, like I don't talk really on my YouTube channel. But like jump cuts allow you to talk like a lunatic. I want to get along with everybody. Sometimes my emotions get the better of me. But generally, if we're talking about what I want and what I'm trying to put my effort towards, I'm trying to be a man of peace.
Well, that's there you go.
A fan of peace.
A fan of peace. There. And speaking of which, that was part of your book, and I think you get a good sense of who you really are by reading your book. And this is the fastest book I've read. I was just fired up to get back into broadcasting in the last couple of years, and I didn't want to become an imposter, but I was like, do I really go with this Drew Dekes thing? Because I mean, it's obviously trying to be the polar opposite of Steve Dangle, but I was like, what if we created a friendly rivalry, between the fan bases where we could just have fun, jab at each other, and still be passionate about our teams?
Yeah, I have no problem with that. I've always told people I don't own talking about sports on YouTube. like that's ridiculous. And like the jump cut style, like I just stole from Philip DeFranco, who stole it from someone else. I'm sure. I don't own the Leafs. I don't own the Habs. I don't own the National Hockey League. Like, do your thing, man. I don't care. I wish there were more people doing this.
Well, you said that in an interview with Nick Kyprios. You're like, you were surprised that there wasn't more people doing stuff for the Habs. And then I was like, click. And that was right around the time I was starting to get my stuff going. And that was a beautiful interview with Kipper, and your story about, that story is just hilarious with the tanking video and everything. But in the book, just getting into one thing about what I found in common with you was you were a drama student. So was I. Your love for NHL 99, opening the box, seeing the orange jersey of Eric Lindros,
so good.
Like that game got me into hockey. And I was like, are you kidding me? That's the same way Steve got into it. Was it not? That was a big part of it.
Oh, it was a huge thing for names and stats. And man, here's how old I am. I played that with a keyboard and then I switched to joystick.
I got you by a year though, because I'm an 87 baby. So I did look that up.
Oh, there you go.
But you know what? We're the same age. But it's a beautiful story, man. And you touch on a lot of interesting stuff in here. And again, I do recommend it. It's a free plug for Steve, because again, if you want to be inspired to follow sports media and you're accidentally on purpose journey, as I think it was Jeff Merrick or somebody eloquently put it on here, or maybe it was CJ. Anyway, just really inspiring stuff for anybody that wants to get into it. And your path's kind of unconventional in a sense, but where do you find yourself right now? I mean, we know where the Leafs are at, but how do you find your heart is in terms of just doing what you love, where you're at right now?
So I've been hemming and hawing about continuing LFR, which I mean is after every Leaf game. I'm obviously still gonna do it, I'm pretty sure, but like it's like I said, the entire regular season is just babble. Like it means nothing. So I'm going to have to find a way to make it fun for myself. And also, like, I just kind of want to branch out a bit. The trade trees have been really successful. Some of the best ones I think I've done have been about the Montreal Canadiens or involved the Montreal Canadiens. The Dangets videos, the hat picks, all that stuff I'm doing on the Sportsnet channel, all the stuff I'm doing with the podcast, I think is really good. And it's just when you never get to talk about the second round ever, you feel a little trapped. But I mean, I think the plan is just more. Just more.
Sid Sixero said recently in a tweet, he was saying, I'm just trying to remember the exact context of it, but he talked about how you've been pushing for doing live streams like you did on the Sportsnet YouTube channel, like watching the game with Steve Dangle, that kind of thing. And you've been pushing for that. Like, are fans, is the voice of fans slowly becoming louder from media? Like, do you find that from a media perspective?
Oh, I think so. I mean, I am one, right? Like, I'm not, I don't know. I'm not like trained in anything. I went to school for radio and television. I didn't take any on-camera courses. Like, so it's, again, sort of falls into the accidentally on purpose. Like, yeah, I went to school for this. I didn't go to school for YouTubing. And like, I wasn't good at operating a camera. I wasn't good at lighting. I wasn't on camera. Like, what the hell? How did I graduate? Like, how did I do anything? But no, the fans are getting a much larger voice because, social media allows them to, it's who's going to go to the effort of writing an angry letter to Damian Cox in the Toronto Star and lick a bunch of stamps. And no, screw that. Like, a lot of people are just going to leave that alone. Today, it's a different day. And if you're not just paying attention to the fans, but if you're not involving the fans, I think you're doing it wrong.
I have to ask this question on behalf of my wife because I think of you and how much you must be on your phone because it demands a lot of your attention, this job that you do. Mm-hmm. And like, how do you balance that with Mrs. Dangle with the phone? Is she ever on you? Like, can you be present? Can you not be on the phone for 5 minutes?
Oh yeah.
How's that struggle for you, man?
It's been difficult, like I'm a dad now, so it's gotten worse. She does all she wants is like, okay, are you actually working on something? Or like can you take a second? Like, are you on TikTok? Are you on are you on Twitter right now? What are you doing on Twitter? Are you tweeting out something for work, or are you going at someone because, I don't know, you're trying to be a fan of peace, but you're also a bit of a baby sometimes. So it's been difficult, but like, I mean, she's extremely understanding, and she's been amazing this whole season long. The first few months of Leo's life, I wasn't really working very much, so I was pretty present. So once the season began, I can hear them thumping around upstairs now. I'm like, his whole life is going on above me, but she's doing a great job while I'm here. One floor below.
What's that? I missed that. Sorry.
I was just one floor below.
Oh, one. Well, I mean, it's just an interesting journey if you're following along with you, and just the amount of stuff we had in common in this book. And I think you relate to people on a heart level because you can talk to this generation, and it's Generation X and the millennials. So do you find that you're kind of in the gap where you're able to relate to anybody from any age group?
I think so. I think so. It's what I always try to preach is hockey isn't rocket science. Like I didn't play it growing up, and I'm not a coach, but you should be able to find common ground and have a conversation about hockey with anybody, young or old. Got to give young people more credit. But I something I said recently is I think the older generation, our parents' generation and grandparents, they deserve some credit for how they've handled life in this pandemic, because like grandparents use iPads now because they want to see their grandkids. They'll adapt. Humans will adapt if you force them to, and they didn't need it before. They need it now. So I think I can handle a conversation with anybody. All it takes is a little bit of life lived and some empathy. Like, I like to think I'm a better person now than I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, because I don't know. Isn't that how it's supposed to work?
Maturity? Is that a real thing?
Maybe. Well, I'm wearing a Pokemon shirt, so I wouldn't go that far, but like something like that.
Something like that. Well, last one here. We just have a set time we wanted to park with you today. I know it's a busy lifestyle going on over there with you, but just lastly, touching again the Leafs Habs series, because I took the Leafs in 7. I think Eric Engels did too. He was one of the only other ones I heard that did, at least from the Montreal side, that was public. But man, I just was sold on this was not going to happen for the Canadiens, that the Leafs were going to have their time and move on. Like we prepared for it. We were just like, this is going to happen. And then sure enough, it didn't. And this could be a long-winded answer, so I don't want to keep you too long, but I mean, what was it about this series? Like what did it for the Canadiens for you, at least from the Habs fan perspective anyway?
I honestly wish I could tell you, and it's not even taking credit away from the Montreal Canadiens. Philip Deneau was fantastic. But like, does anyone think Brendan Gallagher had a great series? Like, does
really.
anyone? No, not really. Like, does anyone think like Ben Sherratt looked beat up by the end of it, and we know Shea Weber was probably playing hurt, and you know the Jake Evans wasn't there for so much of it, and Cole Caulfield was missing for a little bit. Romanov never got in the series, and Carey Price, while being extremely good, him and Campbell had very similar numbers. I thought Price probably had the more difficult saves, but like he was very good, but like he wasn't otherworldly. He was really good, but he wasn't otherworldly. So I want to give the Habs credit, but what kills me as a Leafs fan, and it's why Leaf fans think this team is haunted. They won 3 straight games. The Leafs did 5-1, 2-1, 4-0. The 4-0 game is the best playoff game the Leafs have played in a decade and a half. And they followed it up with what? Like with what? And I didn't see the Habs aggressively change styles. They chipped it in, they chased it, they put pressure, they forced turnovers out of guys. They, you know, a couple offensive zone turnovers from the oldest guy on the team and Joe Thornton, a couple defensive zone turnovers from the youngest guy on the team and Rasmus Sandin. And they just stuck to the same game plan and somehow got themselves a 3-0 lead, blew it, still won. 2-0 lead, blew it, still won. And then game 7 for the 3rd consecutive year was the Leafs' worst game of the series. The Leafs, game 7 this year, game 5 in the bubble, and game 7 2019, they've been outscored 11-2 combined. So, like, you have to give the Montreal Canadiens credit. You have to. But good Lord, this team. Good Lord, the Leafs, man. I can't with them. I can't. I'm out of answers.
I just I wished like I was genuinely going to be happier, like in the deep pit of my soul, if the Leafs won, for the simple fact of all my Leaf fan friends wouldn't have to go through this anymore. And and I'm serious. Like I actually was prepared for that, and that was it. So anyway, we won't keep you, man, but I just want to say thanks for jumping on with Habs tonight and the team on behalf of Dale Weiss. We'd love to get you on again, maybe sometime with Dale and the team, and we really appreciate you taking a few minutes for us, man.
Shout out Dutch Gretzky, and tell him not to watch the Rafael Diaz trade tree, because he's a big part of it.
I did see that actually. So, all right, duly noted, Steve. Well, thanks so much, Steve Dangle, for jumping on, and we really appreciate it once again.
Thanks for having me.